Kera.
I won't be sitting today because I need to run 8:30. Who's that guy helping you over there?
Ricky.
Oh, it's him.
Yeah.
From the back, can't tell.
Oh, okay.
It's not streaming anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll have you post
Oh.
the link on your Facebook page.
Thanks. How's my angle okay, right? Is it connected? Can you hear me? We're going to start in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Are we ready?
Good evening. Thank you all for coming for tonight's talk. Tonight's talk is another anniversary talk
Yes.
in a series that Matthias has conducted. So the last one was on the Fukushima disaster, in which we took note of 8 years after the disaster. Tonight, Matthias is going to talk about a war that has been going on and on and on and on. So this war happened exactly 16 years ago on the 20th of March in Iraq. And for all of you who has read the news and followed this war, you would have known that this war started because one big country feels that thinks that there are weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and led a coalition army, air force, and navy, and went into this place to topple the government. So this particular government is also notorious for its dictator, and we all know that his name is Saddam Hussein. And he's well known as a dictator, but little did we know, and I only just knew from Matthias, that under the rule of Saddam, Iraq is a very peaceful place. As peaceful as you can leave your door open at night and no one will come in, as peaceful as you can leave your money on the table in a restaurant and nobody will take it. So as peaceful as that. So after the fall of the Saddam regime, we see the country breaking up. Insurgents come from different areas. According to Matthias, they come from places like Iran, even
Jordan, Iran,
yeah,
Syria.
And they formed their own forces. So they became the new insurgencies. So they will try to fight against the US.
Against the
government.
US, yes.
Yeah, even though they have already appointed an Iraqi president. So this tension and this, I would say, an internal conflict that built up was not the first day, and it didn't happen right after the US soldiers came into Iraq. It's also known that Saddam belonged to a minority tribe of Muslim sect known as the Sunnis, and the majority would belong to the Shiite. And you know, when the minority sect controls the majority sect, who are the Shiites, there will be a lot of conflicts and there will be a lot of misunderstanding. And of course, when the Saddam regime fell, this all came to the surface. And Matthias was in Iraq a month before the US-led coalition went into Iraq. So you get to move around the entire Iraq, and he will show you the map. And he went around to photograph the daily lives, the homes, and the kids in the streets, even Christians who live in Iraq.
Yeah.
This is what he's going to share with you, and he also witnessed the war during that few months of major combat operations. He was never invaded with the US soldiers because he wants complete freedom to cover the civilian life as well, not just the US soldiers. Right, without much ado, I'm going to hand over the time to Matthias. Please join me to welcome Matthias.
Thank you. I'm going to use the mic. I'm just too...
Line in.
So, people ask me how I end up in Iraq. Because many photographers could be their dream job, or they just don't want to do it. In 2003, January, I had an exhibition in Australia, and I showed my work from Afghanistan and various places, like South Africa in the prison. It was a combined work, and it just happened that the director of CARE International, she was there for the opening, and she came up to me and said, "Do you want to go to Iraq?" And I said, "Yeah, I was about to go to Iraq actually." And she said, "We have an organization there, the only organization, only NGO, non-government organization that works in Iraq. So if you can do it, we will assign you the job." And I was like, okay, let's do it. So a couple of days later, we met up, and she gave me, usually when you get an assignment, you get all the details. But because Iraq was so sensitive, there's no way you could communicate from the outside world. So the only contact, my point of contact was just a cell phone number or a mobile number. So which means when I get to Iraq, I can only call my contact from CARE International. So, and the deal was with them is, you take a risk. We cannot guarantee you because we don't even know what's the situation out there. So I said, okay. So when I went to Iraq, it's not just flying from where you are and to Baghdad. All flights were canceled. So only way is either going from Iran, Turkey, Syria, or Jordan. I tried Iran turned me down. So I decided to go via Jordan. So I went to Jordan. It may sound glamorous, people always think, oh, you're going to such places, it's so glamorous, so adventurous. But I tell you what, it's tiring because you get a lot of hassle. So when I got into Jordan, to get a vehicle to drive us, that was another obstacle because no drivers want to drive to Baghdad. So finally, I found a driver. But he was charging me an arm and a leg. He wanted $1,500 US. That's 12 hours drive. Well, you can't help it. You have to do it. So I did it, and going by road is very dangerous, especially where we have to pass Fallujah. So this is the map from Jordan. This doesn't work. From here, we drove right across to Ramadi, Fallujah. This is the most dangerous. Yeah. And in those days, when we travel, we go by convoy. We don't travel alone. So that was my journey as I went along. That was before the war. I went in February to cover for the non-government organization, for CARE International. So when I got into Baghdad, I had problems as well with the immigration, the customs. When I went in, those days was no digital yet. I mean, they had digital, but not Leica. Leica didn't make digital. The only digital Leica made was the Digilux. So I brought a Digilux for transmission, small pictures. So I brought my film camera. So I brought my chemicals, I brought scanners. And in those days, it was not USB, it was SCSI. So I don't know whether you're aware of that SCSI. It was a pain. So for some reason, the Iraqi authorities, they knew that without a SCSI card, all whatever I brought is useless. So he said, you cannot bring this in. This is a device that, sensitive device. I said, no, this is SCSI card, that you do for transmission. He just wanted money, basically. So I just gave him, US dollars, and I got in. And the drive was 12 hours drive. I end up 3 in the morning. The drivers dropped me in this big parade square. I had no idea where I was because, as I mentioned earlier, Iraq was closed to the world. You don't even know, So I end up in this hotel. It's called Palestine Hotel. And at that time, everything was foreign, everything was new. So when you walk into the hotel, there was a big George Bush Sr.'s face on the floor, on the wall floor. So when you walk into the entrance, you have to step on his face. So that was Saddam's revenge. So during the 1991 war, so Iran-Iraq war and Kuwait as well. So, and then we had a lot of shrapnel, all on display. So, and that hotel was bugged. The room was bugged, so it was recorded, and ultimately you can't really do much. Even like you want to do internet, you have to go down to the lobby, to the business center, and the way it was set up, your computer is facing the wall, so which means the authorities could see what you're doing. So it was very intimidating under Saddam. Of course, when you cover such issues, you have to be street smart. So when you be street smart, I figured out that I'm not going to stay in this hotel because I just can't work. You're just keeping an eye wherever you go. So I went on my own and I found this hotel. I checked out and I stayed on my own. So that's how I got my photos. So before and during the war, I traveled one end to the other end, from north to south. So I was in Baghdad, I went to Basra, I went to Mosul, Sulaymaniyah, and I went to the Iran-Iraq border as well. So I traveled the whole of Iraq. And I was there for 3 months. I went in twice. The first time I went in, they only gave us 1 month visa. And I overstayed. And they found out, they didn't want to renew my extension of stay. So I had to leave. So in the midst of all this, I had to pay. So the Iraqi government came out with a new law saying that you have to pay per day $100. So I was like, what, are you kidding? And it was not stated, nothing was stated. So I had a bit of argument. And so we had like BBC, CNN, they all had to pay. But everything was cash. Even you had credit card, it wouldn't help. Nothing's recognized, it's just cash. And they only take US dollars. So I had Australian dollars, I had pounds. Pounds they take as well, but they're more interested in US dollars here. So anyway, so I said, okay, how much do I have to pay? And they gave me a bill of like 3,000 US dollars. I said, no, sorry, I don't have that kind of money. If you stop most of my money, I haven't even got so much. And they said, okay, we'll give you a discount. So they gave me a discount, $2,000. So I managed to take money out, convert my Australian dollars and my pounds, and I got really, really bad rate for it. And so on the day I was supposed to leave, they had a bookkeeper. So it's very interesting, a bookkeeper. So the bookkeeper was the only one that collects money. So, and I had all the money. I went in the afternoon, wanted to pay and leave the country and come back again. Bookkeeper went for lunch, told me to come back at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, I came back, saying the bookkeeper's not around. He's at home having a sleep, So come back at 6 o'clock. So I came back 6 o'clock, it wasn't there. My flight was 8 o'clock. And I waited, 7 o'clock he turned up. I knew I'm going to miss my flight. Nevertheless, yeah, I sorted out, paid him, and what he did, every $100 note, he was writing the serial number, $2,000. There's no way I would catch my flight. Anyway, get all that sorted out, and going to the airport. In Iraq, the taxi, they use a VW, a very old VW, Volkswagen, 30-year-old car. So I managed to get a driver, and I said, let's go to the airport, step on it. And the guy was like, nah, don't worry, the plane will wait for you. I said, no, anyway, this is Iraq anyway, anything goes here. So when he stepped on it, the car wasn't moving, it was just smoke coming out, So we were traveling like 30, 40 kilometers an hour. And of course, when I end up at the airport, there was nobody there. And they were pushing me around, So saying, oh, that counter. So I went, and I make a big issue out of it. So sometimes you have to create a drama. I did that, and the immigration guys came up to me and said, oh, come on. I didn't have boarding pass at all. And he stamped my passport. I was like, wow, that's interesting. I don't need a boarding pass. Anyway, but I knew I missed my flight. He stamped my passport. The minute I went into the immigration, it's exactly tabled something like that. The guy pulled out his revolver, put it down. He asked me to take everything out, strip everything. I knew he's playing games. I would miss my flight. Anyway, I did all that. The officer came, he came up to me. Your plane took off. I said, I know, I can hear the plane, So, and then he wanted my passport. He said, give me your passport. Usually people would give. For some reason, I was a bit stubborn. I said, no, I will not give you my passport because you stamp my passport. If I give you my passport, I go back to Baghdad, I will be arrested. Illegal entry. So we had a back and forth, and he got really angry. He grabbed me, and I became a bit forceful as well. And I said, don't touch me, and I said, your man stamped my passport, so I'm not going to give you my passport unless you write me a letter. So the guy who stamped my passport was really nervous, and he said, yeah, okay, we will write you a letter. So when he did that, the supervisor got really mad, and then it's like, okay, we'll write you a letter. So he did that. And at that time, I was totally broke. I know how is it like being penniless in a foreign country. I only had left like $25 US dollars. That's all I had. I used up all my money. I even had to borrow from a Japanese journalist. So there was nothing. There's no vehicle. So I talked to the authorities and said, drive me back to the city. And they wanted like $100 in for some reason, I was pretty lucky. Before I flew out, I met an artist. So he gave me his card. So I was like, I had no contact at all. So I had his card. Then I was like, I'm going to call him. So when I called him like 11 o'clock at night, he answered the phone. And I told him, look, I'm in trouble. I need your help. I need somewhere to stay. And he said, yeah, come. I'll wait for you. But then I could not get a vehicle. Okay. So anyway, I was stranded in the airport. I was sitting outside the airport. The airport was closed. Suddenly, I see this car driving real fast. And the guy stopped, and I was like, excuse me, sir. And the guy said, no, don't disturb me, something like that. He spoke in Arabic, and he went into the airport. He missed his flight as well. He's a local. He wanted to go to Syria. So when he came, I said, look, I need to go to, this place, Sadun. And then the guy said, okay, I'll drive you there. So thank goodness he drove me there. And when I got in there, I met up my friend, my one-day friend, that, the artist. So talking about artists in Iraq, if you're an artist, you don't go to war. Because in the Iran-Iraq war, all men has to fight. All. It's compulsory. So they see what you do. If you're an artist, they put you aside, you don't go to war. Those men will fight. You're an artist, you stay in Baghdad, you do painting of Saddam Hussein. You do murals of Saddam. That's why all over Iraq, you see Saddam everywhere. So this friend of mine, it's like he said, never been to war before, because every time there's a war, he end up doing paints of Saddam's face and sculpture and whatnot. Yeah. So so I told him my problem, and he said, yeah, that's Iraq. And I said, look, I need to borrow money from you. I'll pay you when I come back. And he took out from his drawer, he took a stack. I was like, that's a stack, a lot of money. And he just gave it to me and said, look, I'll pay you when I come back. And he told me, it's okay. It's only paper. Oh, I wish Singaporeans are like that as well. So it was really nice. So my point is, Iraq under Saddam, people had no freedom, but they had lots of. They felt safe. You could go out in the night. You could go, I went out like 11 midnight. I walk around. It was safe. Houses were open. Doors were not locked. You go to a restaurant, you eat, you put your money, nobody steals. So the only thing that they felt intimidated, that's the only thing. If you go against Saddam, then you're in trouble. Yeah. So as Ray was saying earlier, minority was Sunni, majority was Shia. So because of that, Saddam wanted to be in control, that, make sure that Sunnis do not overpower him. Yeah. So I was saying this on the way in from Baghdad, from Amman to Baghdad. Ray was saying, how come this crooked, These are just being artistic, yeah. So, because he saw the photo, so he said, how come it's not straight? I said, no, just being artistic. So sometimes when I shoot here, I don't follow the rules, I break the rules. Yeah. I use the rules only as a guide. Yeah. That's why I can end up in Iraq, I'm a rebel. Yeah. Okay, this was this is just to give you an idea, because I never met Saddam. I've always wanted to meet him, to take photos of him, but I never had the opportunity. So whenever we go for press conferences, whenever we get, there's a press conference going on, and we always get false alarm saying, oh yeah, he might be there. So it's like, yes, I'll go there, So, but when you switch on the TV, everything is Saddam. Everything is Saddam. Saddam is a hero, won the war. So everything's about Saddam. Yeah. So, this, before the war, I don't know whether you remember, before the war, there were a group of people from all over the world. Yeah. All over the world, they came to Iraq. They came to Baghdad, and they protest. They protest to stop the war. So they came in buses. I think they came from Turkey. Yeah, because the reason why I know, because I was trying to get into Iraq, and I had information. It's like, oh, you can join these people. You go to Turkey. You can go in the bus. You can go into Iraq freely. But before I could do that, I already got my visa. So I was one of the foreign correspondents that got access or got visa. Like my colleagues from the States here, they didn't get visa. And they asked me, how do you get it? I said, I don't know, I just apply for it, I applied in Australia, so I had to send my passport to Canberra. And I had a call 11:30 at night. The Iraqi guy called me and said, I'm from the Iraqi embassy, your visa is approved. Come tomorrow, we have coffee. I said, I'm in Melbourne. It would take me 10 hours drive, I said, okay, I'll send you the passport. Yeah, so, yeah. So I was saying, so every time we get press conferences, we always, we were told that Saddam will be there, but I never saw Saddam. Yeah. This was taken in Saddam City. Saddam City is majority of Shiites. So Saddam, what he did, he put all the Shiites in one area, Saddam City. So I went to the family's home, very basic living lifestyle. See, the thing about Iraq, the Iraqis, when under Saddam, they tell me that they are the poorest Arab in the Arab region, sorry, yeah. Because like Saudi Arabia, they're rich, people live comfortably. But the Iraqis, they live in a comfortable life, but their wages were low. Yeah. Petrol was really cheap. When I was there, 50 cents, you get 50 liters. So it was really cheap because Iraq is the second oil producing in the world besides Saudi Arabia. So this is all made by the artists, those who go to war, yeah? The artists will do all this sculpture. So this was before the war. And if you are picky about photography, excuse all the lines. You can see all the lines, they're all scratches. Because when I process my film, the water is not clean, so you get a lot of scratches. So this is all shot by film, by the way. And this is the Victory Arch. That's where they have a parade. This again, before the war, Iraqis were out there in protest against the war. So these people, they were in the medical line, doctors, nurses, they went out to protest. Of course, in favor of Saddam Hussein. Every household will have a Saddam's picture. Every household. That's how they live. This is the war is about to start. As you can see, they were stocking up their ration. Flour and rice. And life goes on as is, people always think, oh, war is happening, people are stressed. Of course, people are stressed, but life goes on. There are a lot of things going on. So I end up in the gym, a very basic gym, and we're doing the weights. So I was like, okay, it's quite interesting, These people didn't really care, or I wouldn't say they didn't care, they wanted to keep fit, ultimately. Yeah. And this is, again, before the war again, these guys, they're out there to protest the Iraqis, and behind is the United Nations building. And that's where the United Nations building was bombed. And the United Nations, Sergio de Mello, he was the United Nations in charge of Iraq, and he was one of them, got killed. And 20 staff or UN staff was killed as well. I went into the mosque as well. So the mosque is separate then, male and female separate. So this is the female side. I managed to get in. Maybe they thought I was a woman. So, yeah. So, and then I went to the male side as well. Yeah, okay. And this town is Christians. So Iraq is very liberal. They sell liquor, they sell alcohol in public. This is a Christian area. And I happened to walk around. This is before the war's about to start. Children are always innocent. They're always happy, regardless of what situation. And I just walked past. I saw that, caught my eye. I took a picture. This guy, he's now in contact with me. When I posted on social media, and he said, "Hey, that's me," and he wrote to me. So he's in his 30s now. He's getting married soon. Yeah. It's in the mosque. And here is where the tension was getting even, how should I put it, very, very uptight. So in Baghdad, everywhere was surrounded by police and army. So they were preparing and have parades. Before the war. This is a market, it's an open market. So this open market, if say your camera got stolen, you want to find your camera, you go back to this place, you get it back. Yeah, they do the wheeling and dealing, this market, yeah. So I call it the business center. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah. And this is in the night market. So very busy. They were celebrating. There was a wedding going on. And this is Saddam City. Again, open market, they sell things out in the open. Now, this incident is quite funny because although I covered many disasters, conflict, but I still see joy in them. So when I went to this Saddam City, initially, to get into Iraq, you need a minder. That's compulsory. It's no without minder. So wherever I went at that time, I had a minder. And the minder, he wears a suit, big sunglasses. So it's very intimidating for my subject, for the people. So whenever I'm taking photos, he's standing right behind me. And them, they just look at me, it's like they really, really obedient. It's like they make sure they don't do the wrong thing. Then I realized only the authorities knew that a foreigner needs a minder. But the locals, they were not aware of it. So I was like, great, I'll take the risk. So one day, the next morning, I didn't turn up. I didn't go to the information center, which sometimes you have to go back there to get a minder to take you out. I didn't turn up. They wouldn't know anyway. So I went to Saddam City on my own. So that's how I got my photos. So as I was walking in this place, Saddam City, I get a group of youngsters started following me. So I knew that I'm in danger now. What do I do? So first thing came to my mind is I need to go to an open space, crowded area, and blend in. But it was so open, so it was quite difficult. So I kept walking and walking. They're speaking Arabic, and I hear Arabic. They spoke Arabic, and then I hear the word Jackie. Every now and then it's Jackie. So I was like, okay, how come they speak Arabic and then they had the word Jackie, So I turned around and said, yes, can I help you? And then they say, you're Jackie Chan, So I said, wow, that's a relief, because I thought I was going to be robbed or being kidnapped, because Saddam City is quite dangerous. So sometimes you're being honest, people get angry. So I said, no, I'm not Jackie. So when I sit there and they insist that I am Jackie, so I kept telling them, no, I'm not, and then they got angry. So when they got angry, I was like, uh-oh, I blew it this time. What do I do now? So I said, okay, you want to know the truth? And because they can speak a bit of English, and they said, yeah, we want to know. You're Jackie. I said, no, I'm not Jackie. Jackie is my brother, you know. And when I say that, everybody, wow, his brother is here, you know. So that's how I got away, yeah. And they became really friendly, and then they took me to their homes and whatnot. So I was like, you know, they offered me coffee. So I was like, I didn't want to be rude, so I went in. But when I went into this house, I was like, 20 men in here waiting for me. I was like, God, you know, this is not safe, because they were eyeing on my camera. So one guy was saying, he's got a camera as well. He's into photography. And he said, we exchange. I said, no. This old camera, you wouldn't like it, you know. So I managed to get out of it, yeah. So again, war's going to start. Very, very, you know, it's a very touch and go situation. So sometimes I really don't know whether should I take a photo or not. But what I tend to do, people ask me, how do you get such photos? You know, I mean, because I don't use a long lens, I don't use a zoom lens. I work in very close range. So what I did, they were walking, so I just put my camera up. So I put my camera up like that, no reaction, I took a shot. So even if they say no, I still got a shot, you know. So that's what I did, I took a shot. This again is in the hospital. This is again, the war hasn't started yet. So there were many deformed kids affected during the Iran-Iraq war. They're using chemicals. I managed to get into the hospital as well without a minder, because I did ask that I want to go to the hospital. I need to focus on the health issues. In the Ministry of Information, they were giving me lots of problems. They say, oh no, you need to write to the hospital, you need to get permission, and so on. So I ended up going on my own. Yeah, so these babies are all deformed. Yeah. This is the Scud missile. Made Russian Scud missile, ballistic missile. This one, the war restarted. So a lot of the Iraqis' weapons, I don't think were used, because what US did, they did a lot of air bombing, and before the troops even got into Baghdad. So a lot of missile, F-16s, Apaches, they will destroy the government buildings, especially the information building, communication, just to cripple the infrastructure of the communication. So when all this is down, it's very difficult to communicate. So there are a lot of abandoned Scud missiles. So when I got here, everything, all this was taken out. I couldn't figure it out. And I didn't take a picture. I took a picture, but it's not here. I am not showing it. All around me were a lot of bombshells, not used yet. And I was told not to be careful because they're explosive. So nobody goes there. This one, we were traveling from Baghdad to Fallujah. We get a lot of Apaches flying, hovering all around the place. So again, with this also, you got to be very careful. When I say be careful here, say if you got a long lens and the Apache is flying, you know, they might think that you got RPG, you know. So that was my fear, because sometimes we travel out of nowhere, there's an explosion, just boom, explode. Yep. And that's when you get really excited, you know what to do. You know, when I say excited, you get nervous here. So that's Saddam. So this is all during the Iran-Iraq war, all the shrapnel, the bombing of the. And this is one of the laneway the civilians would find passageway to avoid caught in the crossfire. So obviously, you know, I haven't got a clue. The only way is to follow the locals. Because a lot of times you don't even know. Like I even end up in a place whereby the US bombed this house. They raided this place because the guy was Iraqi intelligence. So I didn't even know I went in sometimes. So this is from top of my hotel. So the war already started. So you get a lot of the M1s, tanks. I think it's M1 Abraham, M1A1. This is in Baghdad. So all these are all unused missiles. These are Iraqi tanks. The Iraqi tanks are nowhere compared to the US. They're, you know, they're small, they're old tanks. So there's so many of these damaged Iraqi tanks like that. This is in the middle of the road. That's US. This one, I was on foot already. I was not in the vehicle, I was on foot. This is the one of the government buildings. So this is all shot by the Apaches. You see all the big holes. So it was really chaos at that point of time when I was there, because the choppers were flying, F-16s were flying, and ground troops as well, US troops, they were all over the place. Like this, you know. So when you get caught in a crossfire, you just got to be careful because bullets are flying all over the place. Yeah. So I went really low. It's not that I'm being artistic, yeah. I went low to protect myself. Yeah. Sometimes say, oh, that's artistic, that's cool, man. I said, no. My life is important. Yeah. I've got to stay safe. Yeah. Okay. And even staying low is quite dangerous, because I remember right in my head, I got a picture of that. One US guy, he was running, he was pointing his rifle at me. Not intentionally, but he was running because he was taking cover as well, they were shooting, and he just went that way. I was like, shit, excuse my language here. It's like right in front of me, you know, if he hasn't pulled the trigger, I've been gone. But that's part and parcel of covering the war, yeah. This was in the Humvee. So this one, they were collecting food ration. Guns are everywhere. Like that. So sometimes even when you take photos of the US, you get stopped by them as well. I was stopped a couple of times because I took photos of Iraqis being killed. Yeah. And when they stop you, they mean business, yeah, because they point a gun at you. And they really go, you know, they go really loud, you know, and you really don't know what's in their mind, yeah. That's when all the tanks are coming in now, into Baghdad. And this is not in a crossfire, but I think they were on a mission to search for someone. So I was there. I was not even supposed to be there. I was on my way to another place. And we all had to stop. So they stopped everybody. See, like the crowd, is all civilians, just wondering what was happening. So we don't even know what the US was looking for. This has been narcissistic, yeah. So this is in the open field. The open field, this traveling by road in the open, to me, is one of the most dangerous because you really don't know when you're going to be hit. Although you see it's open, sometimes they are from a distance, they use RPG, rocket propelled grenade. That fires, hits you, goodbye. You won't survive. Yeah. So they even have land to air missile that's even longer range. I remember in Baghdad airport, I met a few insurgents. So they go to the airport, runway, they wait for the plane to take off, and they try to fire. And when they fire, they throw their weapon, they run away. So by then, this place is all deserted already. See, this one they were looking, I don't know what they were looking for. This one again, I was caught in a crossfire. This was very, very close range. He was firing gunmen from inside, a sniper. I had to take a shot. So I went really close. So I went down, took a photo of it. This scene, the Iraqis got really frustrated. When Saddam, his regime collapsed, the US, George Bush, saying that, okay, you're liberated, you have your freedom, Iraq is free. So all Iraqis were happy, celebrating in support of the US. So before the war, the Iraqis were against Saddam Hussein. They didn't like him. They were really against him. But when Saddam collapsed, everybody was celebrating because we have freedom now. But what happened after 2 months? There's no jobs. People they could not find work. Killing was taking place everywhere. So people got very frustrated and they started to protest. And that's when they went against the US. This photo we were shot. I don't know by the sniper or by a gunman, from side building, from a building from the side. I was very lucky. This is close call. Because in Iraq, it's left-hand drive. The driver's on the left, passenger's on the right. So we were driving, we got shot. And he shot the glass, he went sideways, it cracked. So, I took the photo. My Iraqi driver was cursing and swearing. It didn't dawn on me, because I was just focused on getting the story out. Then I realized after work at night, I start to recall and say, bloody hell, I could have been dead. If that went through, I wouldn't be here today. So this photo, it plays on me every time. Now I look back, yeah. So I think of Iraq every day. It's not I want to think about it, it just comes naturally. Yeah. Yeah, not Iraq, you know, in other cases as well. This one we were in a building, and they were shooting, firing, and they were getting nervous. They were running all over the place. So I took a photo of that. Don't be too technical. Yeah, it's not sharp. Yeah. Okay, and
Matthias, can I just ask, going back to that shot,
yeah.
do you know what the settings were? I mean, it was an instant thing, you'd have to lift up, shoot, but you would preset.
I didn't preset, but usually when I go to an enclosed building, immediately I know what to do. My finger automatically just set to my shutter speed and my f-stop.
So you open up more,
That's it.
a 60th or something.
Yeah. So I would not I want to take a shot, wait for me please. I have to adjust now. I don't do that. I would just automatically just comes, it's just part of me. So this is like my lover, you know, so yeah, it's part of me. Yeah. This incident, we were going to Basra. So this from Baghdad to Basra, this one, when the war was happening, all trains, public transport were not moving at all. So on that particular day, they were running the train. So we decided, when I say we decided, there was a Portuguese photographer, there was an American journalist, and myself, and two correspondents, Iraqi correspondents. And for some reason, the train had to stop one of the stations. It was supposed to be an express train. And then when the train stopped, they were told it's only going to be about like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, then we're ready to go. But the train stopped for a good 30 minutes and end up in this town, and all the villagers started coming out, the locals, and then they spotted us. And they started taking small little rocks and started to throw and wanted to get attention. We're not supposed to be seen. But anyway, 10 minutes later, 3 guys came with RPGs. You know, they just went on and they went like that. I was like, when you see RPG, it's standard call. You shout RPG, you jump, you take cover, whatever. And my correspondent, instead of taking cover, he ran out. I was like, bloody hell, you're running away. Actually, he didn't. He jumped from the carriage, train carriage, and he ran towards those guys and stopped them. So he literally was like body armor, you know, although he wouldn't help, but he tried to stop them because it's local. So he explained to them that these guys, you know, because Iraqis, they were close to the world for 12 years. So any foreigner to them is an American, regardless of what color you are. You see. So, and he stopped them and they walked away, they went away. And we were hoping that the train will go, but it didn't. He stayed and stayed and stayed, and the crowd was growing bigger and bigger. And my Iraqi correspondent said, we have to go. We cannot stay any longer because those guys, RPGs, they spotted us. They are not the generals or whatever. They are just, you know, they take orders. So if we get the wrong person, we all be dead. So he said, look, he's going to look for a vehicle. So what he did, he went looking for a vehicle. After 10 minutes, he came back. He was sweating, you know, and he said, we have to go now. So, so when we went, those people in the train carriage, they knew these guys were going to throw rocks at us. So they had this canvas, the blockers. So the minute we went down, they started throwing rocks at us. So we managed to hop into the vehicle, into the van, and driving halfway, and the driver spoke in Arabic in a very panicked tone. And we all said, now what happened? And he said, my Iraqi correspondent said, we've got no gas. What? No petrol. There's no gas. And luckily there's US patrol, US was on patrol, on convoy. So we stopped them. And they took us to base. We pumped full petrol, full tank, and it was getting dark as well. So this is also another challenge in the war. You don't travel by night because you get a lot of bandits. So sometimes you don't fight for the war, sometimes they rob you as well, they kill you. So we said, no, we cannot stay here, we have to take a risk. So we took a risk. We drove all the way to Basra. So we end up in Basra about 10 o'clock. We managed to get a hotel, a place to stay. And we stayed there, and half an hour later, they started fighting. Gunshots everywhere. So we didn't sleep, we ended up working. Next morning, everything was normal. So that's what happens in a war, yeah. It's very unpredictable. And we went to the market. And this time again, I was very lucky. Went to the market, we walked. I was taking photos. I was like, wow, this is much better than Baghdad, much more peaceful than Baghdad. We went to the market, and two guys came up to me. One in front, one behind. The guy in the front shook my hand and greeted me, Assalamu alaikum. I said, Malaikum salam. And the guy behind, he looked at me from top to bottom. And before anything happens, he spoke in Arabic, which I didn't understand. Thank goodness for that. And he told the guy from behind, what are you waiting for? Shoot him. My correspondent is only like 3 meters away. And there were people around. And he was like, uh-oh. And the guy said, I cannot shoot him. Look, behind. British Army. So British Army was on patrol. So they can't shoot me. They walked away. I was still busy taking pictures. And my correspondent saying, Matthias, we must go. I said, no, we can't go. We still have to take photos. I need to send photos out. Then his tone changed because the locals knew what was going to happen. Then he said, we must go now. I knew something was wrong. So we walk, and he said, you saw those two guys there? I said, yeah. They're about to kill you. So I was lucky. So twice, deliberate. Other than that, it's all just crossfire. Crossfire, you cannot, the bullet it won't differentiate who you are. So, but this one, yeah, someone wanted to kill me. This is in Sulaymaniyah, up north. So the reason why I didn't want to be embedded with the US, because once you're embedded with the US, you cannot leave. You have to be with the US. So I wanted to show both. Of course, I won't get full access from the US, but they allow me to be with them on patrol and visit the locals. So they're trying to build a friendly relationship as well with the locals as well. So he got excited, he saw this magazine, and he started pulling out. This photo, to me, I think it's a nice picture. But when I posted this on social media, I got death threats. People asked me to pull it down. And they say, if you don't pull it down, when I come to Iraq, they will put me down. But I refused. So to me, if I put it down, then next time, whatever they say, they know that they can control what you want to do, or what they want to do. Because he just didn't like the idea of American with Iraqis. You cannot please everybody, I suppose. This is the graveyard tank. All the tanks that was destroyed could not be used anymore. So this is again one of the most dangerous places because there are a lot of Saddam's army and intelligence hide out in this area. So you can see that is all live here, not used yet. So all these you can sell or you can use them. So it's very dusty in this place. This place as well I encountered, not in danger, I thought I was in danger. I managed to get away from it. Like this. This guy saw me from a distance, just me and him. He pulled out his gun. I was like, I'm gone this time. This time I'm really gone. Because this place is filled with Saddam's supporters in his army. So he pulled out his gun and he started firing in midair. And I took a picture, yeah. Sometimes you just have to do it because if you don't, then you look intimidated, you look frightened. People tend to know that you're frightened. So sometimes my fear overcomes what I fear. That's the problem with me. I fear no fear, that's my biggest fear. Yeah. Okay, so in Iraq, when the fire mid-air, 3 things. 1, wedding. 2, party, they're happy. 3, funeral. So when he started firing, he was happy to see me because he's never seen a foreigner. So just as this was happening, in like 3 minutes later, my correspondent saw me, he ran, and then he saw him, and what he did, he took his revolver and just unclocked it so that make sure there's no rounds. And he invited us to have a drink. And of course, my Iraqi correspondent as well, he said, yeah, come on, we have to go, because we have to drink with them, because if we don't, then it doesn't look nice, da-da-da. I said, okay, let's do it. We went to this house. It's about 5 to 6 men. I cannot recall how many. They're all heavily armed. AK-47, revolver and whatnot. They put on the table and they started serving us tea. So there's tea and with a saucer on it. So they gave me hot tea, everybody's drink, and they were speaking in Arabic. So I was just listening. I didn't have a clue. And the guy with the gun, and he said, drink. He went like that. I said, yeah, okay, no problem, So I take my cup and my saucer, I just went like that. So as I did that, because the saucer filled with tea, so sometimes I just have to play cool that I'm not going to look at my tea, I just drink. I did that, and the tea was spilling on my camera. Hot tea. And then he was pointing the gun. He said, tea in Arabic, Then I said, don't worry about it. Then I felt, what's this hot thing, Then I realized tea was spilling on me, and my camera was filled with tea. So we managed, then we left. I tried my camera. It still worked. So my camera drank tea as well, hot tea. So in Iraq, I took three cameras. So as you can see, all the damaged tanks here, all stacked up. This one, they're very good at this, They derail. Once you take this out, the tank cannot be used already. The tank cannot move, This is an hospital. So, of course, in the war, civilians get killed. For my latest report, 3 years, from 2003 to 2007, it was about 600,000 people died. Today, it's about 2.5 million have died ever since the war. What's happening? See, civilian, no proper medication, just make do what they have. We went to the hospital. There's only one nurse, so they had a lot of people, a lot of civilians helping. This guy is not a fighter. He's not a soldier. He just happened to be, I change drivers all the time. Because when I go to different places, we use local drivers because they know the place well. So if you use a driver from Baghdad and you go to Basra, he wouldn't know the inside out of the small little roads. So we change driver. So this driver, he was given an AK-47. Everyone was given a rifle. That's the school. After school, assembly. The school reopened only for a short period of time because there was too much looting going on. This is an hospital. That's her house. The reason why the house was destroyed because the Iraqi used that as a shelter to fight against the US. So everything was destroyed. Same, a place, a house. So this again, it's one Saddam, his regime already collapsed. So you saw the previous shot, everything was in order. This is all damaged. So all the Iraqis started throwing stones and shooting. Yeah. So business was still going on. So again, if things get stolen, you go there, look for your stuff, you will find it. So this was in the school. That's Saddam's palace. Everything was destroyed. His toilet, his taps are all made of gold. His underground car park, he had Rolls Royce, Maseratis, Ferraris. But the basement was all flooded. So people were just looting, were stealing whatever they could get, even like window glass. They would dismantle it and they would try to sell, even like sofa, chairs. This was actually attached to the floor. They hack it out. So when I took this photo, this guy didn't want to be in the photo, but of course, he was in the midst of busying, carrying his new merchandise, and then he just saw me just pull it out, pull his t-shirt up and cover his face. Saddam's palace. And of course, in places like that, sometimes things just goes wrong, like this. So what happened with this? We were outside, US came, they were driving in, someone opened fire. So when that happened, it was a silly mistake because whoever did that, immediately you see the Humvees here, they just step on it and they go really fast and they start firing. So everybody ran. So I ran inside the building. Yeah, because there's no way I could hop into this because they were running so fast and I was taking photos. Yeah, if I wanted to run, if I didn't take a photo, then I would be in there as well. So, and this is another area. This is a rich area. There was no law and order. So when there was no law and order, the Iraqis took the law in their own hands. So they protected themselves. So this rich area, if you were an intruder comes to your place and starts to steal your things, or you've been robbed, all they had to do, they just have to fire 2 shots. Immediately, the hometown or the area know that you're in trouble. And what they do as well, or what they did, outside their compound, they plant petrol bombs all over. So sometimes they are outnumbered by intruders. They rather die. They shoot the petrol bomb, blow up the whole place. So this one is preparing it, make sure everything's in order. So in this house, every corner, you find guns, you find magazines, everywhere. Yeah. There's Abu Ghraib prison. I went to the prison as well. That's inside the prison. So when the war was about to start, they released all the prisoners. And this is in the prison as well. Saddam's face. And this, I didn't understand the writing, so I got a friend to translate for me. So it means in memory of two persons. But didn't go any further. What happened to that person? So I suppose those two persons were killed. And from my Arabic contact, I was told whoever wrote this is a very educated person because the handwriting is really neat and nice. So that's how you tell sometimes. Yeah. That's the mental hospital. So even the mental hospital, there was no mercy for it. People just went in stealing things. So they were left by themselves, but they had medical doctors as well. So the doctors and a few nurses stayed behind. So even like this mattress here, the bed has got no mattress, everything was stolen. You sleep on the floor. And unfortunately, they are mentally ill. You know, he had rice all over the place, and you know, his cup is asking for drinks. I don't know what he was asking for. Mass grave. One of the main problems during the war, just not the war, is also what happened during the Iran-Iraq war and invasion of Kuwait. During the Iraq and Kuwait, when Iraq invaded Kuwait at that time, the US and the British Army were supporting Kuwait. And that was, Kuwait is near Basra, south of Baghdad, of Iraq. Yeah. And so the Iraqis were assured that they would be safe. So in Basra, many of the Iraqis went against Saddam. So just by going against Saddam, just by destroying his mural or his photo of him. So those who went against them, and then when the US and the British left, that's when Saddam Hussein started killing all those that went against them. So this one they're having a protest, and this are the Shia and Sunni together in protest against the US. Usually they get along, but I've never seen them being so united. Yeah. So again, they were drumming and getting heated up. So again, such situation, I really don't know what to expect. So you just have to be careful. You have to be on your toes. You have to look around. Of course, if you have someone with you, it'd be great. It'd be better. So they were very, very expressive. They mean business when they have a protest. That's supposed to be Bush, by the way. Yeah. They call him a monkey. So. I think it's all the missing persons on the writing. This is a shop owner. So initially, he was looking after all his belongings. So he sleeps with his rifle. But of course, a matter of time he gave up because he was just outnumbered by looters. That's a grave in Najaf. By the way, just for your information, Najaf, the cemetery is the biggest cemetery in the world. This is all human remains. This is a mass grave. They put them in bags. There was no DNA. How they try to find for their loved ones is, for instance, they wear a shirt, if they have an ID in their pocket, earring, ring, things like that, and it's like, oh, this could be my brother or this could be my father. And that's it, they claim the body. And once they put them in order, they wrap them around. So this is all human remains. So here as well, it was a touch and go. When I say touch and go, you really don't know how they're going to react. So if you go in like a bull, they get very angry. If you go in subtle, they might forget you. So I saw a few photographers, they went in like a bull, and got really angry, pulled a gun out. Yeah. So I took this shot because what came to my mind immediately, most of them, they die in a different way. They might just push them, shoot them in random, but this you can see, got shot in the forehead. Bullet went through here. And this is most likely, a break from the back. Yeah.
They also look burnt.
Sorry?
They also look burnt.
Yeah. So, they stack them, they put in the truck. And this is all the missing persons, a photo in the mosque. And this, what caught my eye, you see that pink cloth? It's been blindfolded. Yeah, if you can see it. So they die in different ways. This man, he was looking for his father for days, because I was there for a couple of days. And he just been looking and looking, and whenever I saw him, I was like, "Did you find?" No. So I don't think he found his dad. That's a school hall. Then, of course, in such situation, you get a lot of commotion going on. This lady, she just went frantic. She was shouting away. I didn't understand because she's speaking Arabic, but all I could hear was like she mentioned Saddam's name a couple of times. And different culture got different ways of expressing. So when they're upset, they hit their head or they bang the chest and they start to, how should I put it, yell, yeah. So I took in sequence shots. So it's massive place. So I don't think this was, we don't even know the exact figure. This is in the mass grave area as well. The men, they wear this, they call it sharakumif. It's like a long coat. I don't know whether I get the pronunciation right, because I wanted to wear this, but my correspondent refused to allow me. He said, you wear this, you're going to get killed. So it's only for Iraqis, only for Arabs. So anyway, this guy, he was so angry that, he pulled out his gun. So, and people like that, in that situation, you just have to tell that person, that guy works for Saddam. You kill him immediately. Yeah. We visited houses as well. 7 children, 1 survived. POW, prisoner of war, Iraqi. This image, he was a civilian. He was there at the wrong place, wrong time. So what happened in Baghdad, I wasn't even supposed to be there. We drove off midway, motorbike rode past, the pillion rider behind threw a grenade. Grenade exploded, US troops started spraying everywhere. So 2 civilians got killed. This is in Najaf. See all the bullet holes all over. Fighting was going on at that time. I wasn't there, but we were driving past. Things like that, when car passes you at that time, to me, that's a risky situation because you really don't know, because when they drive past, they might just pull out a gun and shoot you. Okay, when I was in Baghdad, you're in the car, and they might just drive past you, they pull out a gun, and they shoot mid-air, they laugh. So it was like a cowboy town, yeah. At that time, during the war, or when Saddam's regime collapsed, arms was easy to get. At that time, the report, a person's life is only valued for $1.50. It takes 3 rounds to kill someone. Each round is 50 cents. Okay, she lost a leg. That's her daughter. These are the Peshmergas, Kurdish. So people always think, Iraq, but Iraq is divided. The northern side are the Kurdish fighters. They fight against Saddam. So this is all explosive, missiles. So these are the Peshmergas. This is really nice, really picturesque, but you cannot walk because there are landmines everywhere. So the Peshmergas, sometimes they go on top and they go, on a lookout. And during the war, WFP, World Food Program, and USAID, they supply food to the Iraqis. So I followed the truck. So I was on top of the truck. And This one, they were in a warehouse. This shot, I took this shot is because even in the midst of war, people still need medical care. And it was very sad for me. A lot of kids, they had blood disorder. So there's no way they could survive, but thinking that every time they do a blood transfusion, they will survive. So it was very basic. They had to keep the blood warm in order to do the transfusion. So in order to do that, he puts the blood bag under his armpit, under his arms, and keep it warm until it warms enough, then they can do a blood transfusion. So that's what. That's the father, that's the daughter. Yeah. And that's what they do. All the children, they do the blood transfusion. Yeah. So this is supplied by USA. It's all the bombshells. So while they're having war, they're also doing business. So when I say doing business, these people, this all been transported to Iran. So I was at the Iran-Iraq border as well. So in the midst of the war, they collect all the shells because they're copper. They can reuse them. So stacking them. Again, very dangerous place because when you go there, there's no law and order, there's nobody there. They can kill you. Even they kill you, nobody would know where you are. That's the Iran-Iraq border. So here is Iraq, opposite, or rather behind the gate is Iran. So they do trading just by opening the gate. And this is a scene, a road to Iran on the border. Thank you. Any questions?
It was over
What
what period of time, did you say?
period of time?
3 months.
I was there for 3 months. I was there from February, March, April, beginning of May. Yeah.
You've been back since?
No, I've not been back. I've always wanted to. I want to go back this year to do a follow-up on those people I took photos of. So I want to do a book on it. Like those, 16 years ago I took those photos, and those people I'm still in contact. I want to take pictures of them. Yeah. So, sorry? Prepare in what sense? To be fit, physically fit, or mentally? No, I'm not going to have a research. Okay, I'm always in touch with my Iraqi contacts. So in terms of research, all I know, in Baghdad, if you're in a green zone, yeah, green zone is a protected area. It's 10 kilometers radius. You are safe. But if you're out of the green zone, yeah, then you're at risk. Yeah, but however, I was told that it's not safe, but others have told me that it's safe. So I really don't know. You really don't know until you get there. Just like when I covered the election in Zimbabwe in 2000, many people told me, don't go to Zimbabwe. Robert Mugabe, you're going to have problems. And then you go to the township, it's so dangerous. But when I went there, I didn't face any danger. So it all depends. So yeah. Everywhere is dangerous, even Singapore.
I mean, the accessibility going in there now,
I think it's easier now because Iraq have many friends in many countries. So I think to get a visa is much easier. In fact, they do have a direct flight from KL, from Kuala Lumpur to Baghdad. Yeah. I would like to think not. Many of my colleagues, they suffered from PTSD. Maybe because I'm crazy, that's why I don't feel it. But I think up to a certain extent, yes. When I came back and many of my friends saying, I think you need help, you need professional help, and so on. I was like, no, I'm okay. You know, I think is one thing that helps me is I do meditation, that helps, and I talk a lot about it. So even after the war, I came back, within a month, I was doing a talk in Australia, in the UK, and I was giving talks. I was talking about it. So I was actually sort of doing my self-help, you know, I was releasing it. Of course, it was playing on my mind every day and night, it plays on my mind. And especially when I hear a chopper flies, it just gets in me of this Apaches. Yeah, because 3 months may sound short, but to me, 3 months out there was like 6 years in there. It's like I was telling myself, you know, it came to a point, I ask myself every morning when I wake up, will I be alive today? I always ask myself. And then one day, it was so stressful, yeah, that you're up there. I told my correspondent, I said, today we're not going to take photo. We're going to the Intercontinental. We're going for a swim. And he said, what? I said, yes. I don't care. We're not going to work today. We just go for a swim. And he told me, he doesn't know how to swim. I said, don't worry, I'll teach you how to swim. And so we went to the pool. Nobody, just us. And he went to the water. I've never seen him like a baby. He was like a baby. He was so happy. But in the midst of, you see F-16s and Apaches flying. It's like, who cares? Because every day you feel as though you're going to die. Every day. You know, the places that we stayed is just unbelievable. Like the hotel was so run down. The bed, they had a bed, and they had this, you know, the bed rest. It's just for sure. I didn't know. I just put my hand like that. The whole bed collapsed. You know. So and there was no water. You know. So you really live day to day. Yes.
Were you identified as press? Did you have like a vest?
Yes, I did. But after a while, they just ignore you. I even had a bulletproof vest, armor. It became too heavy because mine was like 15 kilos, you know. So initially I was like, yeah, I can do it, you know. And within like 30 minutes, I'm exhausted. And then I realized that they don't shoot your body, they shoot your head. And even all depends on what classification of armor vest you wear. Because certain vests here, M16 will just pierce through. Close range, you will pierce through, you will die. So it came to a point, it's like, no. After all, I'm in a danger zone, yeah, you help me, but you just ties me down, it wears me out. So at the end, I just go without my camera. I could even buy a gun, actually. But I didn't want to, because like, you know, my Iraqi colleague said, should we get a gun? I said, no, you get a gun, then people think you're an enemy, you know. So there are many cases whereby, you know, we're walking on the street, the Iraqi guy we're walking, he's doing that. When he's doing that, he was walking towards me. And I was just, I had my camera, I just look at him, and he's not looking at you eye to eye, he's looking at you side to side. So he's just waiting for you to do something, he pull out and shoot you. So at times you just have to be calm about it. If you look nervous, then, you know, I mean, there were times so we almost got kidnapped by fundamentalists. So we had contacts to meet up with them, how they operate. But then we realized on the day when we appear on that location where we were supposed to meet. Then we realized that we were cornered, but we did it in the public, in the open space. And we said, no, not good vibes. It's not worth it. I would have taken the risk, actually, you know. So, but my Iraqi guy said, no. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Sort of dispassionate, like just watching you talk in the pictures, I wouldn't have said, oh, I didn't know either side, I just thought, oh, that's a kind of dispassionate view of it, he's just taking pictures, but you must have a view.
It's not, it's a calling. Passion is one thing. Yes, I am passionate about what I do. If you got no passion, then I wouldn't be doing this. I've always loved humanity. I was a fashion photographer, by the way. I had a glamorous life. I used to shoot lingeries, sexy woman, two-piece, you know. I used to go out, party every night. But then my calling was not there. My calling was reportage. And of course, I was passionate, and I want to let my photos speak to my audience. Yeah, so it's just not about photography as an art, it's also getting the images right. So when I say get it right, as a photojournalist, I don't manipulate my work. I don't crop, I don't do Photoshop, like put things out and take things out, and put the bottle inside, whatever, I don't do that. Yeah.
So you carried all your developing equipment with you as well. So you developed all your films?
Yes, I did. So because when I went to Iraq, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know whether I could find a lab. Obviously, yes, of course, C41 negative. Technically, you can find everywhere in the world to get it processed. But at the situation, I didn't want to take a risk. So I brought my own chemicals. And then when I found a lab, then I stopped processing on my own. So I saved that chemical, whereby to places that I went, that I've got no access. So when I was in Baghdad, I found his lab. We became friends. Of course, you know, they always think I'm Jackie. So, you know, so whenever I go in, I just go into the shop, I get priority first to go through my films. But if then my film comes out, it's full of scratches, you know, but it doesn't matter. Then I scan all my films. But when I say I scan all, I don't scan all of it. I just pick whatever catches my eyes, and I scan. I carry a film scanner. So those days, film scanner, they are long and skinny, so they are quite easy to carry around. Yeah. Yes. Any more? Yes? Equipment, yeah. So Thank you. Yep. Of course, I carry the M system. There was no digital at the time, so I was using M6. Because film is not like digital. You know, digital, you can buy high capacity memory card, you know, like 120 gig, you know, so you can shoot thousands of images. Film was like 36, every row is 36. So I carried 3 bodies. I had 2 cameras on a 35 millimeter, 1 on a 50. So when I'm shooting and I run out, I pull out the other camera and I shoot. Because sometimes you just got no time to reload and load, you know. So that's how I got in photos. Like that shot of the guy being buried. Geez, we're running out of film. I was shooting, then I realized like, I've only got 5 frames to go. I switched camera. Yeah. So 235 is 150. Yeah. No, yes, 235 with the M6, and then 150 with the M6 as well. So I was carrying 3 bodies. Yeah, it was very clumsy. So, sorry? Yeah, it's very hard, but I had my strap. So what I did, right, I had very short, my camera's to here, one's here, my chest, and one below, and one I sling around. So the one that I use most is always here. So I shoot. Anyway, maybe this will act as a bulletproof as well. So, you know, didn't happen, so, yeah. So anyway, I pull out and I just shoot here. So I don't carry it back. So I have my pouch. Yeah, or I wear a vest, a camera vest, so I can put a lot of things inside. Because in those film, I carried like 300, 400 rolls of films.
During those era, autofocus film cameras existed already. Why did you choose film camera?
I shoot faster with manual. Because autofocus, when you focus, you release, it goes to default, and I press it, and it goes zoom, 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 I miss my shot. This one, I focus, once I lock in my focus zone, I can move around, I know I get it. So I find this is much faster in the movement, and this is maintenance free. Even like spilled tea on it, it still works. You know, so that's why I like the camera so much, because it's robust. I dropped the camera so many times, it works. I thought it's buggered, but it still works, so thank goodness for that. And it's also discreet as well. When I say discreet, like I went to Basra, the oil refinery, so it was heavily guarded by the British Army. So we had two photographers. One had a Nikon, long lenses, and we both went in, everybody went towards the guy with the Nikon. Nobody wanted to follow me. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I walk around, and I managed to get pictures of people at work in really nice, big refinery machines. And we met up, and I said, how, do you get it photos? And he said, he used the F word. It's like, it's so hard to get photos. I said, what do you mean? I got my pictures. He said, it was so loud. I said, yeah, I carry earplugs as well. You see, you didn't bring earplugs? And he said, every time he lift up the camera, everybody went, like, you can't get a good photo. So when I use this, nobody gives two hoots. So I capture the essence of them. Yeah. Yes? Okay, I was using slides in negative. Slides I was using Fuji Provia 400. In negative I was using 400 Pro. Negative, yeah. So I don't know why I brought slides, you know, but for some reason I wanted to get quality, but then I realized that the negative 400 Pro is good enough. Of course, not as good as a slide film, but it's good enough to produce good images. Yeah.
So you brought only 400 in shot.
400, yes, or 400, and I got a way of pushing my film as well. So I, instead of carrying a 1600 or 3200, I don't do that. I just use 400. If I need to push, I push on 400. Yeah. So it's understanding your gear. So I learned this from snipers here. You know, they work accordingly. You know, they work in all situations. They need to know their weapon right. The minute they know their weapon well, in all situations, you are still able to achieve what you want to achieve. So, same principle. Yeah. Questions?
We just take one more question.
Because Ray is going to sell you like us, I think. No?
One more question.
One more? Anyone? Don't be shy. Because after that, yet.
When you were there during that period of time, what do you miss most?
Do I miss most? I miss life when I was there, because yeah, I'm alive, but what I mean is I miss that quality of life, and it made me realize that even when I was there, I know eventually I will leave this place, and I will go to safe haven, in a safer place, and I'll leave those people behind, and that's what I missed, and that's what played on my mind all the time, because those people that helped me, they took their risk. In fact, my correspondent, when after I left, I lost contact with him for a year because he was captured. I thought he was dead. So, you know, we were kept in touch for a couple of months and then totally lost touch. And then after a year, he called me and it's like, thank God you're alive. He told me he was captured. He was captured by the Muqtada al-Sadr army. Yeah, so that's what I missed. Yeah. No questions?
No questions? I
If no
Matthias
questions-
deserves another round of applause.
And I'll pass you to Ray. Oh, he doesn't need the mic. He's got a strong voice.
There, because today I'm like I'm like the sidekick. I don't speak so much. He's speaking for more than an hour, so he needs that. So if you see here, there is a web page. This is actually the web page of the Leica Academy Singapore. I've been talking about this many times, and I think at the end of every talk, I've been mentioning about this. This is the website where you can access all the workshops, even talks that the Leica Academy plans in the whole year. And occasionally you see a new workshop coming up because details have been finalized. So I just want to invite you guys to remember this particular web page, leica-academy.sg, where you will find all kinds of workshops from introductory to intermediate to advanced to travel workshops. So keep an eye on us. You might find something that will benefit you sometime, someday. Alright? If there are no more questions, we don't want to hold you. Have a great evening. There is still a few hours to go.
Any questions about the workshop?
And we'll see you very soon. Please follow us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good. Thanks. Okay, thanks. Yeah, thank you.
I still want to come, but I don't think I'll be brave enough.